Hello everybody, welcome back to episode 3. Today we're going to be looking at getting the workshop set up. Finally, it's taken a week or two to just sort of get some ideas together and figure out where I'm going to get everything from. But I'm going to look at picking up some angle brackets today from my very good friend, the Blazing Blacksmith of Peebles in the Scottish borders, Jim Whitson. On top of that, we'll have some 18mm plywood, which I'll need cutting down so it fits how I want it to be in the workshop. We've got a lot of things in there which we took out of the shed from episode 2. The amplifiers, dummy load stations, oscilloscope, transformers, cables, etc. So that stuff will all have to be removed from the workshop. I'll have to clear the room out so I can get access and it's just comfortable working in a clean environment. But yeah, let's make a start on it today and get this workshop set up. Right, so I've just come to my friend's, Jim Whitson's, the blacksmith, and hopefully he's got some brackets for me for the workshop. Let's go and see. Okay, here we have some brackets. Jim has made me some L brackets. I have 7 of these. He's done 7 for me. Fantastic. He's such a great, he just does a great job with absolutely everything. Not sure if you can make it out on here, but he's very particular with his weld seams. He's even chamfered out the screw holes for me. 8mm holes and 6mm holes, and there's a gusset going across, so these brackets will support really heavy workbench. So absolutely fantastic. He's primed them and done a matte black finish as well, so great, ready to go. Get these into the workshop, have my lathes level, try and get them lined up this afternoon, tonight, and get a workbench on the go. Brings me to another point. You can see this 412 speaker cabinet, a Von Hatzke amplification 412 cabinet. This was actually a prototype 412 where we experimented putting caster wheels on the bottom, which are obviously a lot easier to move around. However, just 4 caster wheels, I believe the cost for the caster wheels was £40, maybe 60-70 US dollars at the time. But that, once you've factored in your manufacturer's profit margin, your distributor's margin, and then your final retailer's margin, added quite easily to £200, $300 to the cost of a 412 speaker cabinet. It's just simply not doable. Maybe not that much, but it wasn't inexpensive, and it made it a no-go because there are things like the metal caps on the top of the cabinet which hold the 412 angled cabinet on top. It all costs money. It's not just about the caster wheels, but the cost, there are hidden costs there, and I don't think a lot of people appreciate. Quite easily we could just say, why don't you just install some caster wheels? Because what about the cost of the metal plates on top? It's not just the caster wheels on the bottom, it's the cost of the fixings, it's powder coating, the design costs of everything. It all adds up, and who wants to pay $700, $800, $900, £1,000, $1,500 for a 412 cab? Speaker cabinets do make a difference, of course they do, but it's birch ply. you put your vintage 30s in, or your greenback, whatever you want to put in your speaker cabinets. I think it's a personal preference, it's a choice, but for me, I would find it difficult to justify spending more than £1,000, $1,500 on a speaker cabinet. It's just my opinion. So in the end, we decided to not install the caster wheels on the 412 cabinets, and perhaps that's why most of the other brands out there don't install caster wheels as well. There is also a safety issue. They're incredibly wobbly, really wobbly. If you're on stage, you're jumping up and down, you've got the 412 straight on the bottom, 412 angled on top of that, a head on top of that, sometimes two heads. It's very top heavy. If there's an accident, it's not going to be very pretty. So for a few reasons, not just cost, design considerations. Okay, so that's the workshop is empty. Sorry, living room, used to be living room, now workshop. Workshop is empty. Now I can start laser leveling up the walls, get the L brackets installed. See how we get on. So my next consideration is, what height do I make the workbench? A kitchen worktop in the UK, I'm sure it's similar in America, but in the UK I've just measured my worktop in the kitchen, and it measures 92 centimeters to the top of the surface, which is 3 feet 36 inches. It seems reasonable to me, about 90 centimeters. I like to stand up when I'm at my workbench. I don't like to sit down. You also have to think, if you're working on an amplifier that's upturned, that's going to be 30 centimeters height, 25 to 30 centimeters, 12-inch height. Is that workable? Is that a good height? So a kitchen worktop is around 92 centimeters, 37 inches, plus an upturned amplifier takes you up to 47 inch, 120 centimeters. That's a bit high. I would be, if I were soldering, then I'd sort of be going in like that. I don't think that's acceptable. Also, underneath the worktops, what I would like is to have the option to have the 412 speaker cabinets with the caster wheels packed underneath the worktop, so they're stored away nicely. The 412 cabinet with caster wheels has a height of 85 centimeters, 34 inch. Give that a try. 85 centimeters, 34 inch. If you were to have your worktop at around 35 inch, 88 centimeters, 86, 87 centimeters, 35 inch. I think that's doable. So around 85 centimeters height, 35 inch. I think that's where I'll go. So I'll go around 85 centimeters. Also need to think about spacing between the brackets. So I'm going to measure up the speaker cabinets. I can't remember offhand what the widths are, but I certainly want the L brackets to have sufficient space between, so I can slide those 412 cabs in between the L brackets. Okay, so now I have my level for the worktop height. And this is what we're hoping to achieve. I have 7 of these, so now I just need to do some sort of calculations on spacings between the L brackets. And then I'll go ahead and get these mounted to the wall. It is I thought it was a brick wall. Oops. It's not. It's not a brick wall. This one is. That wall isn't. That's a problem. Brick wall, I have solid fixings, no problem. The wall behind me, this is a Scottish property. It's more than likely lath and plaster. So I'm going to need to do a practice fixing on that and see how far back the brick wall is. I may have to use some 8mm threaded rod and some resin fixings if needs be, but I'll do a few pilot holes and give it a try. What I've done is I've drilled some pilot holes just every so often, quite a few over here, just until, kept drilling through the wall until I found some timber behind. And from experience, I know that in Britain, the spacings between the vertical timbers are either 600mm wide, if it's a more modern construction with some 2x1 timber behind a stud wall, or if it's the older lath and plaster, then it could potentially be 45 or 450mm centres. I actually found that the spacings were 450mm, so I've just gone approximately 450mm across, done a few test holes and confirmed that there are timbers every 450mm across. So I know where my timbers are. I really do have to fix the brackets to the timbers. I can't just fix straight to the plasterboard wall because it'll just pull the plasterboard down. Fairly happy with these first 3 brackets. They're all sitting on my red laser level line, nice and straight. I'll get these next 3 on the other wall installed, and the next step is to go and pick up some 18mm plywood. I'll get that cut down, sit it on top, and then I have a workbench. Fantastic. Right, that's the brackets installed all the way around on both walls. Absolutely solid fixings, really happy. So thanks very much to the Blazing Blacksmith or Peebles for getting these brackets sorted for me. And right now I'm going to go and pick up some 18mm plywood. I only have a small car, so not sure how I'm going to bring it back, but hey ho, we'll sort that out when we get there. But go and get some plywood, bring it back, drop it on, and we've got a workbench. I can then start to get the equipment set up on the worktop, do my load stations, oscilloscope, power supplies, get my cables in here. So yeah, a great day's progress. I've just got back with my 18mm plywood. I only have a small car. I don't usually do much driving, so just keep this little car, and it's come in handy today. Who'd have thought that you could get a sheet plywood in a Fiat 500. Fantastic. So I've cut it into 2 lengths, straight down the middle, so 2.4 meters long and approximately 60 centimeters width. And I'm going to get them into the workshop now, get them sat on the new angle brackets, and we'll see how they look. Making very good progress. All seems to fit absolutely fantastic. There's a little bit of a gap between the 2 pieces of timber here, a little triangular shaped gap because the walls are not perfectly 90 degrees. So I will probably try and just mark that up and cut it out so I've got a good joint there. But we have a workshop. We've got the worktops in place now. As you can see, I had a little bit of I tried to freehand it, the cut. I marked up a line where I had the gap between the 2 pieces of plywood. Thought I was smart. It was a bit of a, it wasn't a straight line, so I did a proper job. Just put a piece of timber on top, used that as a guide, and now we have an absolutely fantastic, nice, beautiful square joint there. Not really square, but it's flush. So I'm really happy with that. Yeah, we have the bench. I'm just going to, now I'm happy with the cut and how it joins here between the 2 pieces. I will now get the screws in, screwed in to support it from underneath, stop them from moving around. I'll then look at putting the joint piece on underneath, and we're done. Okay, that's the screws underneath. I do have a smaller piece of timber which I use to join these pieces of plywood. I'll go and find that now. Now I have a finished workbench. Fantastic, really happy with it. I've got a flush joint where the 2 pieces of plywood meet. Fixed nicely underneath as well, secured the 2 pieces together. The brackets are absolutely solid, really happy. Now I'm going to clean up, hoover up, give everything a dust over, and then I shall start to put some equipment on the workbench, get everything out of the boxes. Great. I have found my dummy load stations. I have a 16 ohm, 8 ohm and a 4 ohm dummy load station. My initial thoughts are that I use this area here as a testing station. So I'll get the dummy load station set up there. I'll dig out the oscilloscope, I'll put that on top. I used to have that sitting on top of the load stations. So that will become the testing station, and then this bench here will be used for building amps, soldering, looking at schematics, etc. As people that watched episode 2, the manky old oscilloscope, well, it's not that old actually, it was just filthy. But we'll get that just sitting where it needs to be. This really does need a clean up though. It's in need of a good clean up. This is a signal generator and oscilloscope. Please leave some comments below with any suggestions, any ideas. What kind of amplifiers are people wanting to buy these days? I know there's millions of people buying amplifiers, but what would you guys like to see? What would you like to see us build? That's just something I've got in my mind just now, but I have transformers, I have countless tubes, reverb tanks, all the buttons, knobs and switches that we need. But I'll be thinking about this over the coming few days. Next episode will be looking at a schematic in detail. I'll give you a quick tour of the workshop again and let you know how I've got on in here, setting it all up, power supplies, etc. But yeah, think about it, leave some comments. Next episode we'll start having a look at a schematic in more detail and go into some of the mathematics, the calculations, the physics behind the tubes, inductance, capacitance, everything. It will probably be quite busy. I'll try and keep the episode under 45 minutes, an hour, otherwise we could be running for many hours. But I look forward to reading your comments if there are any comments, suggestions on amplifiers that you'd like us to look at, or features that you'd like to be added. But yeah, workshop's done, and we'll crack on with getting a schematic together. Thank you.